this was big news. So the Donald Trump cabinet, Kash Patel got confirmed for the FBI. Picked a very unlikely person for the deputy
director of the FBI.
Director of the FBI is none other than talk show host Dan Bongino. Is it up there?
Why is that a surprise? He was secret security and he was
it's just weird because he's got like, it seems, he was. I'm not saying he's not qualified. I'm just saying it is unusual that Pete Hegseth, for example, was in the military. I don't know what qualifications you need to be deputy director of the FBI or the defense secretary. I don't really know, because like they'll just say they're unqualified, and you go, okay, well, what do you need to be qualified?
Sure.
What makes you qualified? I just thought it was interesting because they took Pete Hegseth was former job working on Fox News, and then Dan Bongino, who's probably the biggest, like, since Rush Limbaugh died, I guess one of the biggest shows in that conservative sphere.
Sure, absolutely. With like Ben Shapiro, Mark Levine, Sean Hannity, he's right up there with them.
Be the last show, but we've only got a few more left with you. So obviously we're going to be working with a team of people to make this transition from me, political commentator Dan, to deputy director of the FBI Dan. Those are different roles, require different skills. Skills I have and have used before and I plan to use again. It's going to hurt to leave you. I'll discuss over the course of the coming days. I'll be with you for a little bit longer. I
think he had his last show, like, yesterday?
Yeah, maybe.
And they already have a replacement. I don't know who it is. I know the head of podcasting at Cumulus, which falls under somehow they licensed that.
Yeah, it's
Bongino.
What is it? Westward. Yeah, it's under Cumulus.
Yeah, Westwood One.
Yeah, that's it.
So I talked to him and I was asking him if he was going to keep his show. And I think at that time he didn't even know if he was going to be able to keep his show or not. But then, I read that he was going to have to give that up. It seems to me that working in his position is more powerful and could hold more weight and sway more opinions than deputy director. But I guess it's just kind of like a prestige thing, right? You just want that job.
I think he just feels like he's been called to serve his country and he wants to do that.
He's given up. I mean, he's still got his network. I mean, what I've heard is his network is going to expand. He won't be there, but I guess they have people in the mix, ready to take the reins here from that show and do other shows on his network.
Radio and on my show, I will discuss exactly what's going to happen. It's not going to impact Evita or Haley's.
Dan Bongino, this news yesterday sent me and my significant other down a rabbit hole of what is Dan Bongino's ethnicity. Yeah. I have claimed that he is part sub-Saharan, and I swear to God, I read it somewhere, and Chris was looking for like 30 minutes. He's like, there's nothing. It just says he's Italian. We saw an interview, and at the very end of the interview, it was like 7 minutes. He's like, well, I'm half Italian. And then the interview ends, and we're like, what's the other half?
He does have a very, like, when they say, like, this is what people are going to look like. Everybody's going to look like
just a mix
in 100 years. Yeah, just like a mutt of everything.
Yeah.
He does have that look. Because he's kind of got, like, he's got the receding hairline. He's got a buzz cut, but I feel like that could be like kind of like black dude's hair.
Yeah.
A little bit. It kind of looks like black dude's hair. Yeah. But also it might just be super short. You might have the Sean King thing where Sean King shaves it just super short and like, puts it in that fade, and he's white, but he kind of looks like he could pass as like 1/8 or something.
There was like an older guy. I don't know if he's CNN or I don't know, or maybe it was Fox. But I think his name's like Juan, but he's Panamanian. He looks exactly like Dan Bongino. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking Panamanian. There's like a lot of, there's some African descendants that came there. So that's what I'm thinking. But, Dan Bongino is an Italian name, but he's only half as declared by himself. So I was just kind of curious. He's got that kind of like Vin Diesel, questionable what's going on here. And it's not that it's important. It's just my brain is trying to figure it out. That's all.
Oh, I get it.
You know what I mean? You just
I
what
totally
are
get
you?
it.
You look interesting.
What's your deal, man?
Yeah.
I got to be honest, I was a little hurt that I wasn't asked.
I know.
Because we have the same kind of job, me and Dan.
I mean, technically, yes.
I think that I was probably number 2 on his list.
Yeah.
But, that's all right. That's all right. So congratulations. Should we watch the rest of this? I guess this is him saying goodbye to everybody.
Content at all. My wife has been running the business for a long time. I don't get involved with the business at all. I do the talking. But I want to ask you, who's next? Who's next? This isn't just about me, folks. The do matters. Who's next? I said last week, and
what do you mean by that? Like, who's next? Like,
who's going to take his spot?
He doesn't know. He doesn't have a say.
Well, I think I'm sure he does.
He just like forfeits his seat, and they just put whoever they want.
Well, they already have somebody.
Sure.
I know that for a fact. Let's look to see if they.
I don't think it's been announced yet. But.
Dan Bongino show.
Please.
Dan Bongino.
Oh,
gosh. Bunch of new. Okay, there's nothing really.
All right.
There yet. That's all right.
Who would you like it? I mean, I don't know if we'll even know the name.
I mean, I know 2 people that are currently looking for jobs.
Well,
that I think I would, myself or you, would be good
fit
for there.
Yeah,
I think that could be a good fit. So just throwing it out there, Cumulus in Bongino Networks.
That'd be like such a disappointment. Like I get online, they're waiting for all this MAGA shit, and I'm just like, so intermittent fasting is very good.
What race is Dan Bongino?
Dun, dun, dun.
The world deserves to know. Yeah. Other news too, radio news kind of, was a legend back on the air.
Oh my God.
In New York.
What the hell?
The once canceled, now back apparently, Anthony Cumia of Anthony, Opie and Anthony fame.
Yes.
Obviously, they had a very successful run in radio for many years. And Anthony was canceled after some tweets, which I know you.
And you.
And me. I mean, mine was I wasn't technically hired yet, but but Twitter
caused some problems,
caused some issues, and Anthony Cumia was fired from the Opie and Anthony show and then kind of relegated to online. He announced that he is starting at WABC in New York City.
Which is insane.
Which is totally wild. Now, what I learned about WABC is it's not owned by ABC.
No, it's owned by, it's actually a friend of Joe Bordeaux's.
I know.
Owned 400 Central in downtown St. Petersburg.
Yes.
John Cassidy-Midas.
Something like that.
Midas. It's Greek, I think.
So he purchased this radio station from Disney, I guess, and started putting people on the air.
If you can say this name.
I looked him up today.
Yeah.
Then the answer I can already tell you right now, Anna, is no. I cannot
Can you say that? Can you say that name?
John Catsimatidis. That's who I'm saying. So he bought this from Disney. He put on, it's a conservative station now that's broadcasting in New York City, has affiliates all over the country. And Anthony Cumia is going to be joining the ranks, will be heard again in New York, which is interesting, the kind of cultural shifts that are happening. Joy Reid was fired from MSNBC. Read out. Her show was her show? Was that her show?
That was it. I think that was the name.
The Read Out, or
something like that.
So Joy Reid out at MSNBC.
Who's the other?
Lester Holt.
Yes, him.
The major position there, like the NBC straight news guy, whatever. He's a clown too, but like the Jake Tapper of CNN. It's like there's one guy who's like the.
What was the It's MSNBC. That was the network.
NBC News. Oh. Joy Reid was MSNBC.
Oh, okay.
She had a show, but Lester Holt, he did like the different networks. NBC's like NBC.
Oh, okay.
It's like ABC Bakery has Weston Bakery. It's like a subsidiary of NBC.
Okay, so it's the mothership.
Like a cable. Like this is network television.
And Rachel Maddow was MSNBC.
Rachel Maddow still MSNBC.
Yes.
She got in trouble, or not really in trouble, I don't think, but she was calling MSNBC racist because
Yes,
they fired
on the network. She's
on
like,
MS.
my bosses are my network's racist. I'm like, then why don't you give up your spot?
That seems like an easy solution. I mean, it wouldn't work that way. She couldn't just say, I'm going to put my black friend in my seat.
I understand she's not making the hiring decisions, but still she could have like said, well, you know, I'm standing my ground. I'm out if she's out, sort of a thing. But she didn't do that.
No, of course not. Of course not. Money's too good.
Of course.
Money's too
and
good.
just the clout and prestige.
Yeah. So that's interesting that Lester Holt gone. I think he said he resigned, but and Joy Reid was just fired. And then Anthony Cumia hired. Anthony Cumia hired.